as we look at the two teams now, starting with Arsenal, John Lukic in goal, a back four that's missing the injured David O'Leary, such a big influence for them, of course. 22-year-old Gus Caesar takes his place. In the midfield, Paul Davis has shaken off a midweek injury. He came back early from Arsenal's midweek break in Marbella. And then up front, Alan Smith and Perry Grove share the main burden of scoring the goals that would retain the Littlewoods Cup for Arsenal. Now what about Luton? Such big decisions for manager Ray Harford in the past few days, and this is one of them. The goalkeeper, Andy Dibble, gets only his 6th game of the season. There were doubts about the fitness right up till lunchtime today of Les Seeley. The back four that's strengthened by the news that Mal Donaghy is fit, and Rob Johnson is preferred at left back to Ashley Grimes. And then in midfield, where Ray Harford has gambled on the fitness both of Ricky Hill and David Priest. They've missed so much of this season through injury. Indeed, Priest has had just one game since October. The gamble really forced on him when Darren McDonough was injured in training on Friday. Heartbreaking for him. And then a gamble up front as well. 19-year-old left winger Kingsley Black pitched in to provide presumably a lot of width and also a service for the head of Mick Harford. Ashley Grimes, one of the substitutes. And away we go, with Luton attacking the goal to our right. As I said, both sides struggling a little bit for form lately. Luton with just one win in their last 5. Arsenal the holders with only 2 wins in their last 9. There's Harford's head. Here's Ricky Hill. And Tim Breaker. Steve Foster for Luton, bundling it forward towards the head of Harford. Luton's throw. Ricky Hill will take it. He said to me on Friday, yes, it's a bit of a gamble, I know, him playing me, but I'm a gambling man. Perry Groves versus Mal Donaghy. Rocastle. And Priest unable to get a hold of it. Johnson just tucking it forward. But now Nigel Winterburn came off Kingsley Black for the Arsenal throw. Winterburn taking it. In goes Donaghy first. Thomas. Rob Johnson. Winterburn. Trying to get it through to Perry Groves. Donaghy gets it forward to Harford. The little touch by him for Hill. But Tony Adams was onto him quickly. Foster. And Sansom. To the Arsenal skipper. Davis. Rocastle. Caesar. Lift it forward there for Alan Smith. Groves. And Dibble will be grateful for the first touch. Had a very nervous opening, did Dibble, in that FA semi-final against Wimbledon, but brought off some great saves in the first half. After that, Sansom. Davis. Arsenal moving with a lot of comfort and composure at the moment. Danny Wilson. And appear at the moment to have settled just a little better. David Pleat?
Yes, I think the early moments are important to whoever gets the initiative, and I think Arsenal, particularly from Sansom and Winterburn's situation, will want to push on quickly and test the defensive instincts of the likes of Ricky Hill and Kingsley Black.
There's a good shot by Smith and well held by Andy Dibble. The man bought from Cardiff City. Smith. Well, to that effect, Adams is on the edge of the Luton box right now. And there he is jumping for it, but Foster had spotted that. Priest. And again Arsenal through Davis and then through Rocastle. The ball now for Thomas. Dibble's gone out. cross comes in, and Rob Johnson, as cool as you like. The first real scare, that one for Luton. And once Dibble had failed to get that ball, they could have been in the most serious trouble. A delightful ball played by Rocastle. There goes Dibble. Michael Thomas there looking up, but look at the coolness there of Rob Johnson. Foster versus Smith. Foster wins it in the air. Rocastle for Arsenal. Nodded on towards Perry Groves. Foster's there again and again. Steen, a nice little header there. And Luton suddenly have got 4 up, and Arsenal only have 3 back. Here's Ricky Hill. Played quickly for Danny Wilson. He's gone past Sanson. The cross comes into Brian Steen, looking to get something on the turn. Kingsley Black couldn't either, and Thomas gets it away, but then it hits Rocastle and falls for Harford. Priest trying to dink it in, and it comes for Rob Johnson. The best little spell, though, for Luton so far. With 13 minutes of the game gone, 0-0. And a free kick for Luton.
I think Harford's header there against Lukic is important psychologically, and they'll be thrusting balls into that area because Harford is not only brave, he's a magnificent jumper, and they'll be very wary of him, particularly if he can pull away to the back post against the smaller Arsenal fullbacks.
Which is what he's done just now. Thomas has gone there to watch him. Harford getting in on this one. Foster's in there too. There's a chance for Luton. Steen has scored. Well, the underdogs with 13 and a half minutes gone, and Brian Steen with his 17th of the season. By Priest. Foster was in there, important touch by him, and suddenly he's a good finisher, Brian Steen, and proved it there again at Wembley to put Luton ahead.
Because it was Harford that forced the issue. There's 3 men jumping with him, and then Foster's nicked it through, and maybe Caesar's looking for the offside decision.
Always has been a good finisher.
Yes, he sidesfoot it, he passes it into the net like the great Greavesy.
Well, is Wembley going to continue its reputation as being, of late, a place for the underdogs? Arsenal were last season against Liverpool and they won it. Coventry were against Spurs in the FA Cup and they won it. And certainly little second division Reading were in the Simod Cup here against Luton and they won it. Now Luton are ahead, but for how long? Thomas is offside.
Last year's goal against Liverpool.
Two elbows going into that wall as well. Winterburn shot, beautifully saved by Dibble. Struck beautifully there by the fullback. He's only ever scored 1 goal for Arsenal. Mind you, that was an important one. The winner in the quarter-final of this competition against Sheffield Wednesday, but he hit that with tremendous power. And that'll do Andy Dibble's confidence a bit of good, too. Heads have been almost permanently screwed to the left, watching the action, not so much to the right. And here we go again as Adams. Rocastle. Good break by Winterburn, and Foster's there in the nick of time, defending extremely well. A valuable interception there by the Luton Town captain after a good break and a tremendous run forward by Nigel Winterburn, but very nearly paid off for Arsenal. Goal kick.
Arsenal have obviously suggested that they must break as much as possible down that left side. Priest hasn't played much football recently. Johnson is playing left back, whereas he hasn't been a left back recently. Grimes has been playing there, and young Kingsley Black's come in. So Arsenal with Winterburn and Rocastle will try and stretch them down that side.
Dibble with the kick. Up goes Caesar. Richardson. Smith is after it. Foster there first. 500 League and Cup games. but not really very good Wembley memories. He was here with Brighton when they were beaten 4 by Manchester United. He was here with Luton just a few weeks back when they were beaten 4 by Reading, but his side are leading a goal to 0 at the moment. And here's Caesar. You get the impression that people like Foster and Donachie are going to be the real cornerstone of anything that happens for Luton this afternoon. Arsenal continue to press as this cross comes in, and Dibble was positive because Foster held back for a moment, and that could have been a very dangerous cross indeed. But Dibble's done everything that's been asked of him so far. In for the injured Les Seeley.
And he got that little pat on the head there from Foster as he got up, old headband. He'll look after him.
Breaker, or is it Wilson? It's going to be Danny Wilson. Trying to hit Foster with it. 2 minutes to the interval now. Paul Davis could have been getting himself into trouble, but in the end releases a fine ball for Winterburn on the far side. But Donachie there sticking close to Groves. Castle. Davis. There's space for Sanson. Kicked in there, and goes behind for the goal kick from the head of Paul Davis. Thank you, Jim. Here we go then. At the start of the second half, Luton leading this Littlewoods Cup final by a goal to 0. Arsenal about to kick off. They'll now, of course, be attacking a goal to our right. Brian Steen, the scorer for Luton after 13 minutes. George Graham was saying in the week that the one thing that really bothered him was the inconsistent form that Arsenal have been showing lately. They've been good one day and poor the next. Reminding you that they've won only 2 of their last 9. And certainly it was one of their poorer days in the first half in terms of what they were able to achieve when really they'd had so much of the ball. This is Kingsley back. Certainly has shown no qualms about being put into a Wembley occasion at the age of 19. Wins a free kick. And you poor though Arsenal have been, you get the impression that they have one of those Liverpool qualities about them that you never write them off. There are qualities about them, as indeed David Fleet is well aware as manager of Spurs last season, when they were behind for so long in those semi-final matches in this Littlewoods Cup and eventually came out and won it. Priest, Davis, Rocastle, Thomas. Now he's a man who could make a difference if he'd make a few more forward runs. You agree with that Arsenal quality though, David?
Yeah, they've got great resilience. I think all big sides have. I mean, they're very strong physically. They'll keep going for 90 minutes in this game. They'll keep throwing balls into the box, and eventually they have to believe, they stay optimistic that they'll get a break.
Winterburn. Donachie showing first. They got for an offside against McHarford.
The only significant change I can see at the moment in the Arsenal setup is that Richardson looks to be playing a little bit wider, Brian. But otherwise, so far, nothing else.
Caesar trying to get Smith away. Johnson went through that challenge well enough. Found Priest. Got Black outside him. He's got Ricky Hill, Brian Steen and Mick Harper forward, and here's Kingsley Black. Nice to go on the outside, whips his cross in! And Harford was in there. Enjoys doing that, whipping on the outside. An excellent crossover ball, combines well with Mick Harford. And Harford's just wide of the mark under pressure from Sanson. David Fleet?
Yeah, Kingsley's not got explosive pace, but he's got this ability to manoeuvre an angle to get the cross in. And Harford thrives on those type of crosses.
Caesar under pressure from Harford, and Harford's got away from him. Brian Steen's waiting in the middle. Can Harford get to that one? Crossed in by him. Brilliant piece of goalkeeping by Lukic from the header from Brian Steen, and Luton within a whisker of being two ahead. Tremendous piece of goalkeeping there by Lukic. That 6-foot frame of his stretched to the very last inch. And Luton win their first corner of the game. Fabulous piece of goalkeeping.
Fantastic save and fantastic bit of attacking play, and I think that will lift the whole game.
All right, here we go with a corner for Luton. Up goes Harford again. And Ricky Hill into the side netting. Of Donaghy and Foster. Kevin Richardson with the free kick for Arsenal. Adams has gone forward as well. Well taken in the air there by Dibble. So in the space of a couple of minutes, both these huge goalkeepers using their height to very good effect.
But I would have, you know, it must have been a difficult one for George. I would feel, you know, two lots of pace. Hayes and Groves might have been a winner, but we've got 30 minutes to find out.
Meanwhile, Mick Harford is still off the field, and Luton at the moment playing with 10 men as Rocastle comes forward. And here's Hayes getting his first touch. He's gone past Foster. Gets it to Smith. And now Rocastle. Richardson on the far side. Good cross in by him. Foster there again. Davis hitting it first time. And no, it doesn't go out of play. Smith with the header. Beautifully saved by Dibble. The flag was up, was it?
Yes, an offside decision has been given. And I'm sure Smith would be relieved at that, because in actual fact I think he picked the wrong option there, and I think across the goal once again was the better opportunity for Arsenal.
Harford back on the field again. Luton back to full strength, but he's given a goal kick. So maybe he overruled the linesman. At any rate, it was an excellent piece of goalkeeping going there. Good reactions there by Andy Dibble. Last night, Ray Harford, the manager, didn't want to talk about that, but he's back here as a sub, and now he's playing. And he's had quite a good record, 12 goals this season, and here he is now, looking to make another one, or score it himself, and the chance was certainly there. Well, he's the smallest man on the field at 5'3", but he could have been a really big man for Luton in that moment. His first touch, this.
It's very clever mark, and he can do clever little things with the ball, but there's always been a slight doubt about his finishing. But I think they're going to be bombarded.
I think it's going to be a nerve-wracking last 20 minutes now. Smith. Rocastle. It's gone past Priest. Well, he didn't get past Priest, I suppose that's the point. It's a free kick. The ball got past, but not the player. Niall Quinn warming up. Maybe just as a precaution in case there is a problem with Rocastle. I suppose if it stays this way much longer, he might be tempted to throw a 6'4" striker in to add a little bit more power up front, David.
Yes, but it would only lead to more frenetic play and more crosses into the box, and you know they're unable to prize Luton out of position, and that's what they need to do at the moment. And I feel they would be better off getting extra width on the outside. Rocastle was more influential, certainly, I think, wider, and he's beginning to play a little bit now.
There he is, recovered from that knock. Free kick to Arsenal. 35 yards out. Paul Davis behind it. Chip by him. Foster with the header. Can't go anywhere. Oh, Hayes has made it 1-1. That becomes an inspired substitution. Arsenal had threatened for much of this second half has finally arrived.
Well, it came that way, didn't it, Brian? It was a pure scramble. I mean, they tried to claim that Foster was holding. It looked like almost an amateurish free kick, lofted up into the 6-yard box, loads of bodies, and then a ricochet that fell kindly for Arsenal. But there it is now, we have a wonderful game on our hands, wonderful game.
1-1 the score. Maybe the balance has swung Arsenal's way. Although on the break, you get the feeling that Luton can be just as devastating. Back with the corner for Luton, high towards Steen. This is Priest. Swept wide again, what a good ball, picking out Black. Trying to get round Richardson, there's his cross, it's a good one towards Steen again. Foster's in there too. And Arsenal belted away with Kenny Sansom. But Johnson now feeds Black again. There's that cross coming in once more. Lukic is there under pressure from Brian Steen and a free kick to Arsenal. 1-1, 16 minutes of normal time left.
It's lovely to see how young Black's taken the pressure of this game. He's a very mature boy. I always thought he was an introvert, and I doubted whether he would have enough authority to make a player. But John Moore was a tremendous influence on him and persisted, and in the end he persuaded us to sign him.
Thomas, and now Smith, the great chance now! He's put it into the back of the net, and Arsenal are in the lead! Until today, all that's forgiven now as Alan Smith brings Arsenal from behind into a leading position with this goal here, driven with great force with the right foot, past Andy Dibble.
It was excellently taken, but there must have been a question mark there from that angle. It looked as though he'd gone far too wide, the first touch. Maybe not, but Luton just had to overcover there, and they're succumbing to the pressure. The fitness, I think, is telling.
Well, we said he thought it might be a crucial area now for Luton with getting his orders from Ray Harford.
Who do you think's coming off, Brian?
Why put me on the spot? Why didn't you tell me?
I think young Priest in midfield, the left midfield player. I think he's done terrific. But I think
towards Smith. No, good grief. Even again, no. Well, from about a yard out, Martin Hayes actually hit the post after Dibble again had saved well, and Arsenal so close to going 3-1 into the lead. Good reaction save there, came off the post, and Martin Hayes hitting the post from a yard's range, and the ball eventually going behind for the corner. You're quite right, David Priest has gone off, and Ashley Grimes comes on.
That was a marvellous save by Dibble.
Adams, and a little flick on, another brilliant save by Dibble. Again from Martin Hayes, from no more than a yard's range. Tremendous reactions, and Arsenal absolutely rampant at the moment. 2-1 up, and looking now to make this Liverpool's Cup final absolutely safe.
For the first time in the game, Foster's so busy organising that he's losing his men in the box.
Well, Davis with the corner. Must have lost his man there as well. Smith trying to get it on the turn. Rocastle. Rocastle, just wide, goal kick. Ray Harford off the bench there, trying to get a few things organised, particularly in that Luton defence. He's done a terrific job there, following you, David Cleat, and John Moore, of course. But it will be sad because they're a great club, Luton, a splendid club that everybody enjoys watching. But it looks as though their season might end up with nothing at the moment, when it seems so full of possibilities when they were through to the Simod Cup final, into the semi-finals of the FA Cup final, and the final of this one. Might have nothing to show for it.
And Paul Ray's giving instructions on the line then. He must feel terribly isolated, because I don't honestly feel that from 25 yards distance it's very difficult to get instructions through.
Theo Foley's trying. George Graham also. Desperate moments for a manager's these, whether you're winning and hanging on, whether you're losing and looking to put it right.
I think at times, Brian, we try and influence ourselves sitting there, that we're doing our jobs. There's very little we can do. Theo's almost having a heart attack there at the moment. (2-1). 10 minutes left. Onside. Smith's on his way. This could make it safe for Arsenal. Saved by Dibble. Rocastle. Penalty given as Rocastle is brought down. Arsenal get a penalty. Well, Michael Thomas has been taking them for much of this season, but Nigel Winterburn, who's only ever scored once for Arsenal, and that's in the quarter-finals against Sheffield Wednesday. And with Martin Hayes also, who's taken a lot of penalties last season. Curious decision, this. Well, let's see. Winterburn. Saved superbly by Dibble. Genuinely good goalkeeping save there. Studiously placed towards the corner by Winterburn. A spectacular leap and save by Andy Dibble, and a corner for Arsenal. 8 minutes left. Brian Steen getting back there to get it away. Rocastle for Arsenal. Turning on the power now. Another cross coming in over the top, and it'll be a goal kick. What about it, David? Well, dare I say, Brian, that I thought it was a harsh decision in the first place. Dibble got down awfully well. That was the clincher. Luton are still in the game, but of course Arsenal are rampant now because they feel so confident, but it's taken them a long time to get going, and then they've had the breaks at the vital time. But at least it's turned out into a very good second half.
Costa. Winterburn. Johnson gets it back. Caesar. Oh, he stumbled. Can Black get in there? Steen! Steen! And it's in there! I think it was Danny Wilson who got the last touch, and Luton are back at 2-2. He wants to, and he's made sure that we have to believe it. Kingsley Black, after Caesar had fallen, a little touch there to Brian Steen. The first one is charged down. Steen gets another touch, and in the end it's Danny Wilson who tucks it in to make it 2-2.
Well, Luton have never given up. They've lost Harford and they've kept at it, and they've got a break, and you may say they deserve the break, and now at least once again Arsenal have got to come and show their skill. I think Hayes' pace has been influential in the last 15 minutes. He's been getting beyond the Luton back four easier than Groves did earlier. I think it's been a very good substitution by George Graham.
Ricky Hill. Well, it was certainly no great shakes as a cup final for the first 45 minutes, but it's more than made up for that now in this second half. You would hardly have given a price for Luton when they went 2-1 down, when Alan Smith went through with just the goalkeeper to beat. And then they got a penalty, which Dibble saved brilliantly. And Luton have weathered all that kick where they can put some more pressure on Arsenal. And who knows? Foster's gone forward. The man with the splendid left boots, Ashley Grimes, is behind it, although maybe Rob Johnson will fancy he should be taking it. Grimes then, floated towards Foster, a bit too high for him. Ricky Hill trying to get in there. And Arsenal at full stretch getting that one away. And away goes Thomas. Such power in that stride, and a lovely ball for Rocastle. Stopped by Donaghy. Here's Mark Steen. His brother just inside him. 5 minutes left of normal time. 2-2 the score. Extra time is beckoning. Terrific influence on this game today, and who knows, he might yet have the last word. Word there with Ashley Grimes about how the free kick should be taken, and Ray Harford gets back to the bench.
I think Ray'd like to take it for him, Brian.
The chip in there by Danny Wilson. Now Grimes. Pick the outside, there, Steen! And Luton are ahead in the very last minute. It'll take a monumental effort now by Arsenal to get back on level terms, and the underdogs look as though they are going to have the last word. What an amazing cup final this is turning out to be. You would hardly have given Luton a price 10 minutes ago, and now suddenly they've drawn back level, and now Brian Steen has made it 3-2.
Yes, it was Brian, and it was a superb ball from Ashley Grimes, outside of his left foot, clever ball, and I think overall it's about right.
You might be a little biased, former Luton manager.
I hope I haven't shown that too much, Brian. It's been a good second half. It's finished.
It's finished, and Luton have won their first major trophy. They've tried for so long, since they were formed back in 1897, and they're all over the pitch. There's a whole heap of them, as Ray Harford, their manager, comes to shake hands with his player coach and skipper, Steve Foster. And who would have believed it? What a cracking game.
He's really an inspirational character, is Foster. He's led the club brilliantly in his years there. He came from Aston Villa reserves.
Well, this action never changes, as he'll lift the cup. It's just that the faces do, and that's a new face and a new club. The name goes on the Littlewoods Cup, Luton Town FC. Well, they didn't have long to put those ribbons on. That winner by Brian Steen, scored in the very last minute of the game.